Okay. So I'll start with the presentation. Fine. Shall I start?
Okay, ma'am. Start,
Okay.
ma'am.
So today I'll be talking about the trematodes. So especially in that the flukes, that is blood fluke I'll be discussing. So like trematodes. So earlier we have seen in the parasitology, like in the trematodes. So what is their basic morphological structure, students? So basically they are what shaped? They are like flat and they are leaf shaped. Yes? Do you all agree with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And their body is unsegmented. So can you see any segments over here? Just a second.
No, ma'am.
Just some technical issues are happening. Just wait. Just a second.
ಮಾಡ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಸುಳ್ಳ ನಂದು ಜಗಳ
Hmm.
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋ.
Okay. So the trematodes, they are basically unsegmented flat leaf-like parasites, and they are multicellular. And the basic thing about these trematodes are again, so they are like they have got the three hosts. How many hosts they have got? Three hosts. In that three hosts, there is one definitive host and there are two intermediate hosts. So one definitive host and two intermediate hosts, and except for which one? Cystosome. In cystosome, how many hosts are there? So cystosome, there is one definitive host and only one intermediate host. So this exception you need to remember, because already question has been asked related to this exception. Now we will see what is this definitive host. So accordingly, how we define this definitive host, students? So it is a host in which the larval form it grows into adult, or it is a host in which the adult form exists. So that we call it as what? Definitive host. So am I audible to you all, students? Students, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. But
Yeah. So definitive host means what? In which the larval form it grows into the adult, or the adult form exists in that host. And what about this intermediate host? So it is a host in which the larval form, only larval form exists, or one larva will convert or mature into another higher level of larva, that we call it as what? Intermediate host. So such type of host we call it as what? Intermediate host. So question can be asked related to that, a definitive host. So options can be given, in which an adult like larva will convert into adult, or a host in which the adult will reside. So that host we call it as what? Definitive host, right? So now can you see the pictures over here? So what are all these pictures representing over here, students? So the first one, it is a picture of what? Snail. The second one is what? It is a picture of the fish. And this is a
ma'am,
picture of what?
actually, hello, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me what
Ma'am, actually,
happened.
slide is half, only
Huh?
half side is visible, ma'am.
ಲಿಟಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಡೌನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ
Only half slide is visible.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ
Yes,
ಹನ್ನೆರಡು ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್
ma'am.
ಡೌನ್.
Okay, okay, wait. And
Below
the,
pictures.
yeah, now can you see?
ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
No,
Okay,
ma'am.
ಬಿಲೋ
okay, just
ಫಿಶ್
I'll continue and see.
ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಿಲೋ ಫಿಶ್. ನೀ ಮಾಡ ನಿಂದ
ಕಿಚ್ಚಾಡಬೇಡಿ, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನಡೀತಿದ್ದೀರ, ವೈ ಡು ಶೌಟ್? And the last one, no, it is nothing but the crayfish. So this one is called as what? Crayfish. So look at these organisms. So like these pictures can be given and they can be asked for your like examination. Like all these come under the category of what? Intermediate host. And the person who you can see over here, no, so he is the usually the definite host, that is a man. So man is what? Man is the definitive host for most of the trematodes, right? Which are important from our examination point of view. So now this is a slide that is showing the classification of the trematodes based on the habitat, like the area where they live. No, based on that they have been classified into four categories. So if they live in the blood, they are called as what, students? They are called as blood flukes or blood trematodes. So the best example for these blood trematodes is what, students? So they are nothing but cystosomes. In these cystosomes, the very important ones are what? Cystosoma hematobium, which is the important one. It is a cystosoma hematobium. Students, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Can, okay. Because no any technical issues, kindly let me know then and that time itself. And this cystosoma hematobium, where does it live? So, which is its favorite place? So, it basically lives in the vesical venous plexus. So, wherever the vascular structure is there, there this cystosoma it will reside. So, which is its place? It lives in the urinary bladder. So, the plexus which supply the bladder. So, in those plexus it will reside. And very important is cystosoma mansoni. So, where does it reside? It is one of the MCQ question. So, it resides in the rectal venous plexus. So that is what? Inferior mesenteric vessels. So in that particular area, this particular cystosoma mansoni it will reside. And cystosoma japonicum. So where does it will reside? It will reside in the superior mesenteric plexus. So especially in the portal venous plexus it will reside. So these anatomical areas where they locate, so it is very important. Then what about this hepatic trematodes or the fluke? So the name itself is self-explanatory. So where does it live? It lives in the liver. So that's why they are also called as what? Liver flukes. Yes. And very important is fasciola hepatica and fasciola gangetica. They live in the liver. And the other organisms like Colonarichus sinensis, it is also called as Chinese liver fluke. So where does it reside? It resides in the bile duct. And very important is that it is the one which causes what? Carcinoma. It is the one which causes carcinoma. So the Colonarichus sinensis, it causes which carcinoma? It causes the carcinoma of the bile duct. So this is one of the very important MCQ question. And next is like intestinal trematode. So in this intestinal trematode, the very important is Phaeolopsis busci. So it is also called as the largest trematode. It is what? It is the largest trematode. So the question can be asked, which one of the following is the largest trematode? And where does it resides? It resides in the which part, students? It resides in the small intestine.
Small intestine.
This point you have to remember. And very important is it is the smallest sorry, it is the largest trematode. And next point is heterophyes. It is also the one which resides in the smallest small intestine. And it is an example for what? Smallest. It is a smallest trematode or the fluke. Then other trematodes are like metagonymous or Watsonius. So these are not don't worry much about these things. So remember this F. busci, it is the largest trematode which resides in the small intestine. And smallest one is which one, students? Heterophyes. And the trematode which resides in the large intestine. So what is the trematode? It is gastrodiscoides. So remember these names. Then the trematode which resides in the lung. So which is this? Paragonimus westermanni. So very very important. So P. westermanni. So like if at all this particular name is there, just keep it in your mind that it is the one which lives in the lungs. So here look at the picture over here. This picture, it is showing the lung and it was like already infected with this Paragonimus westermanni. So it is the liver structure which is showing the organism that is residing in the liver. Yes, and look at this particular picture. This is the one which again resides in the liver itself. It is a liver fluke. Next. So these are the certain terminologies which you need to remember because MCQs can be asked. What is viviparous? What is viviparous, students? Sirisha and others? Divya,
Larva.
viv
It gives diaphragm.
Yeah, viviparous means what? here the adult worm, it will directly give rise to what? The larva. So the larva, it may be anything, and later this larva, it will develop into what? Adult worm. So such organisms, we call it as what? Viviparous. Oviparous. Ovo means what? The adult worm, it gives rise to ova or the egg. And from this egg, what will develop? The adult worm will develop. So ova, that means what? Ovum or the egg. Next is ovoviviparous, very important. Ovoviviparous means what? Here, adult worm, it will give rise to egg. From this egg, what will come out? The larva will come out. And from the larva, what will come out? The adult worm will come out. Now, just we will have one question over here. What are these trematodes or flukes they fall under? They fall under viviparous, ovoparous, or they are ovoviviparous. What is their nature, students? Any guess over here, students? So they fall under the category of what? Ovoviviparous. That means what? These trematodes, they lay the eggs. From the egg, larva will come out, and this larva will later develop into which one, students? Adult worm, right? Students, can you all see this slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now this slide, it shows the larval form of this trematodes or the flukes. Like usually these trematodes, they have got how many types of the larvae? They have got 5 types of larvae. So what are these larvae? So let us try to remember these names. So from the egg, what will happen? So from the egg, first larva, whatever it comes out, that larva is called as what? Miracidium. So miracidium, what is the actual meaning of this miracidium? In the Greek word, it is called as little boy. So the first boy or the first baby that comes out of this egg, that is called as what? Miracidium. And what is the general feature of this miracidium? It is ciliated. Now, in the picture-based question, why I'm focusing on all this? Because in the very recent AIMS question paper itself, like the organism has been shown and they have asked you to identify it, right? So this picture, if you see the miracidium, so what is seen over here? What are the structure called as? It is the cilia.
Mm.
So miracidium is the one which has got cilia. And how long this fellow will survive in the water? So the egg, no, whatever is there, the egg will reach the water, and in the water, this miracidium will hatch, and in the water, it will stay for 12 to 14 years, or if maximum, it may stay there for 3 days. So this is the maximum lifespan of this miracidium. So within this duration, what will happen? It needs to find its the first intermediate host. So usually it is called as what? Snail. It is a snail. So whenever the snail is obtained, so it will pierce the body of the snail and it will enter over there. And in the snail, it will develop into what? It will develop into sporocyst. So this is a look at the picture over here. In the sporocyst, what happens? The miracidium will lose its cilia and it will form into non-ciliated structure that we call it as what? Sporocyst. And then what happens within the snail itself? The sporocyst will develop into second larval form that we call it as what? Rediae. So rediae, what is the meaning of this particular word, students? Rediae. Why it is called as rediae? Because it is based on the name of the Italian scientist. So his name itself was what? His name was Redia. So Francisco Redi. So this person has in detail studied about this particular larval form. So based on his contribution, this name has been given. So where does this Redia will occur, students? It will occur in the snail. Now, what will happen in the snail? This porocyst and redia will happen. Then, from the snail, what will happen? It will come out in the form of the another larval form that is called as what? Cercariae. It is called as what? Cercariae. Can you look at the picture over here, students? So, this is the form of Cercariae. Now, what is the peculiarity of the Cercariae, students? Students, so Cercariae, what it has got? It has got a cilia. Do you all appreciate over here, students?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
And then it has got a head. And what does this fellow has got additional part? It has got a tail. So can you all see a long tail it has got? And very important is that just look at this tail. How is his tail? His tail is what? It is bifurcated. Do you all agree? So most of the cystosoma, so like the one which are called as blood flukes, which resides in the like vascular tissues, so they are called as blood flukes. So his tail is what? Bifurcated. So this word is very very important. And usually the cystosoma cercaria, they are invasive. Now what will happen once this the cercaria, it comes out of the snail with a bifurcated tail, and if it finds a human, if it finds a man or the human, what will happen? It will enter the man by the invasive nature. That means what? It will pierce. So then after piercing the man, it will enter. The moment it enters the man, what will happen? Its tail portion will be lost. It will lose its tail and only this particular body will be there. So then after that, through the dermal veins or the vesicles like venous plexus, it will reach the other systemic or visceral plexus, and whichever the organ it likes, it will reside there, and there it will mature and develop into what? It will develop into adult form. So this will happen in case of what? The blood flukes. But what will happen in case of other than blood flukes, that is liver fluke or lung fluke or intestinal fluke, this is cercariae, it will further develop into another higher larval form, that is called as what? Metacercariae. So what will happen in metacercariae? The tail will be lost and it will become rounded, and cystic, like a cyst or thick wall will be developed, and it is called as what? Metacercariae. And where does this metacercariae will reside? It will reside in the fish. In the first slide itself, I showed you, no? So, like if you remember, so it will reside in the fish, or it may reside in the crab, or it may reside in the what? Crayfish. So these are all the favorite secondary hosts in which this particular metacercariae will reside. And very important is that this metacercariae, it may even live in the aquatic plants. So remember this. So this is very very important. So it may even live in which one, students? It may live in the aquatic plants, right? So if the animal, sheep, or if the horse or the man or anybody whoever ingests this particular aquatic plant or that infected fish, now the metacercaria, it will enter the body. So a question is that cercaria, it will enter the human by means of what? Through invasive nature. It will only pierce and it will enter. Whereas if it is other than blood flukes, any other flukes, they are usually ingested. Remember this. Yes, if a man eats fish, infected fish, crab, or aquatic plant, then it will directly enter the man. Next, look at this question once it has been asked. Upon entering snail, Miracidium loses its cilia and transforms into a sac-like body. It is called as what?
Sporocyst.
No? It is called as what?
Sporocyst.
So, everyone, do you all
Sporocyst.
agree with this? Mohan, Jayashree, Swati, Himanshu, Sirisha. So
Yes,
the
ma'am.
answer is mother sporocyst. Whatever it is, you are correct actually. So the first picture, it is what? It is the Miracidium. So that is a little boy. So this fellow, he will lose all his cilia. Then slowly, what will happen? He will develop into non-ciliated, rounded body, and which asexually it will divide and multiply. So that is called as what? Sporocyst. Next. Now let us look a little bit into the eggs of these flukes. Some questions are being asked related to this. So what is the basic nature of the eggs of these flukes? So they usually, most of them has got what? Operculum, that is the lid or the operculum. So these eggs are called as what? Operculated eggs. But other than almost all the flukes, they are called as what? Operculated eggs, except which one? Cystosoma or the blood flukes. They have got what? Non-operculated eggs. They have got what? Non-operculated eggs. So that means what? There is no lid over here. Now look at the picture over here. Identify the egg that is given in the picture over here. Students, because in a community based program, you may collect the urine sample, or you may collect a sputum sample, or you may collect the stool sample, And if you observe any of these eggs, so try to identify the egg over here. So how does this egg look like? Can you all see over here a spine or a sharp projection? Can you see here? It is called as what? Spine. So
Mm.
where is this spine located? At the end. So that is what we call it as what? Terminal spine. Yes, this is first point, very important to be noted. So you have identified a terminal spine. And within the egg, what is present, students? Something, the cells that are differentiated, right? Some differentiated structure you can see. That means what? Some baby is present within this egg. So this is what? Another point. So what is the second point you have noted in this egg? That is what? A baby that is present. So a larvae is present. So that is the second point. Now, can you see any operculum or lid over here, students? Any lid or any opening can you see? Mohan, Sirisha, Jayashree, Himanshu, anybody? Swati? So there is no
No,
operculum.
ma'am.
I can't see any operculum over here. So it is like no operculum. So now all these are the what characteristic feature of which fluke egg. It is a characteristic feature of the blood fluke or the cystosoma. So, if such a egg where a typical characteristic spine is present, a sharp projection, then it should come to your mind, yes, this is an egg of which one? It is an egg of cystosoma or the blood fluke. Now, most of these flukes, no, they have got a egg. Those eggs, it may be embryonated eggs. That means what? A baby or the differentiation has taken place. That is already a larvae has formed within it. So now that is Miracides present inside. Now what will happen? This fellow, it will hatch in where? Water. So the best example is which one? Cystosoma. So all the eggs of the cystosoma or the blood flukes, they are what? Embryonated eggs. The second one. Second types of the eggs, they are called as what? Non-embryonated eggs. So what are these non-embryonated eggs? So they are like, look at the second picture over here. So can you see anything, something like a differentiation over here? Something, it is rough area is present. You can't differentiate anything, something is present inside. So that means what? It is the cells are not well differentiated. So the larva is not exactly formed within this egg. So what will happen? So the egg will be released in the water. In the water, the egg will mature and then it will release its larva, which is called as what? Miracidia. And the best example is what? Paragonimus. So Paragonimus, it is what, students? It is a lung fluke. Remember this. Lung fluke. Paragonimus westermini, it is a lung fluke. So, and fasciola. So these are all the examples of what? These are all the examples of non-embryonated eggs. Then embryonated but hatch only on ingestion by the snail. So this is a very important. So that means what? These are the eggs. They contain the larvae, but from the larvae, the baby or the miracidium will come only once it is taken up by the snail. So the example is what? Metagonimus or Opisthochus. So these are the examples of what? Embryonated eggs, but they hatch by ingestion into the snail. Now let us come in detail about the schistosomiasis. So what is the schistosomiasis? It is also called as what? Bilharzia. So why it is called as Bilharzia? Because it was first observed by the doctor Theodore Bilharzia in the year 1851 by doing an autopsy in a young man. So while doing an autopsy in a young man, what happened? He has identified this particular type of the fluke. And look at the picture over here. So what you can say, it is a waterborne disease. It is a waterborne disease. Do you all agree with this, students? And there is no reservoir,
Yes, ma'am.
and man is the only what host, direct definitive host for this cystosoma, and it has got only one intermediate host. This point you have to remember. It has got how many intermediate hosts? It has got only one intermediate host.
One.
And who is that intermediate host? Snail. So that's why it is also called as what? Snail fever. So cystosomiasis, it is also called as what, students? It is also called as by another name, snail fever. Now, where does its life cycle will happen? So its life cycle, it usually takes place in the humans, snails, and even it happens in the freshwater ponds. So these are the three areas where it will complete its final life cycle. And what is the infective stage? Very important MCQ question. So what is the infective stage, students? It is the fork-tailed Cercaria. So can you look at the picture over here? So earlier I have told you, right? So what is this larval form? Can you see the fork tailed? That is, the tail is what? Bifurcated. So how does its tail looking like? Its tail is bifurcated tail. So this we call it as what? Fork tailed Cercaria. And whatever the reaction that happens in the body because of entry of this particular Cercaria larvae, it is mainly because of what? Body's reaction to this particular war eggs. So whatever the eggs are there, no, so this circle it will enter the body, it will mature into adult, and this adult will lay what? It will lay the eggs. And then what will happen? Our body will show some reaction for this, and surrounding the egg, what will happen? The granulomatous tissue will, or the reaction will happen, which is called as what? Egg granuloma. So whatever the pathogenesis or pathological changes that are happening over here, it is basically because of what? The reaction to the war eggs, right? Any doubts over here? So what are the names for the schistosomiasis? It is also called as what? Students?
Bilharzia.
Bilharzia, then
Snail fever.
snail fever.
Snail fever.
And what is the infective stage? It is the fork-tailed.
Fork-tailed
Yeah.
Cercaria.
And then what is the body's reaction? It is basically the granulomatous reaction. Now let us see little information about this particular fluke. So already we have studied that most of these flukes, they are what? They are hermaphrodites. They are what? Hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodites means what? Both male and both male and female, they are in one organism itself, right? And whereas this particular cystosoma or the blood fluke, here they are what? Dioecious. That means what? Like male and female are what? Separate. Now look at the picture over here. If this picture is given, you should directly say that it is a picture showing the blood fluke or the cystosoma. Now in this, which one is male and which one is female? You should only answer for this. Students, who is male and who is female in this picture? So the broad one, look at the,
Outer one.
yeah, outer
Broad
broad
one.
one who is thick, so that fellow is the male.
Thick.
And in between what is present, a thin or slender who is reddish in color and who is longer than the male, and this lady is nothing but the, she is a female, right? And where she is present in where? The canal. Can you see the canal over here? Where she is present in an,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
this canal is called as what?
Gynecophore.
Gynecophoral canal or the sex canal. So this sex canal is present where? It is in the male. So this male, in between what happens? His body is what? His body is split. His, this fellow's body is split, and in the splitted area, who is present, student? The female is present. So that's why they are called as what? Cystosome. What is the meaning of cystosome, student? Cysto means what? Split. So their body is split. Whose body is split over here? The male body. Yes. Now another thing you have to remember that. So what is present? Another very important morphological feature is got. They have got the suckers. So because these are called as oral suckers and the ventral sucker. So can you see these rounded openings over here? So because of this, they will go and adhere to the tissue or the site wherever they want to adhere. So these are called as what? Suckers. So they are the oral suckers. Another bigger sucker that is called as what? Ventral sucker. Right? Any doubts over here? Next. So, this cystosomiasis, like it is like a very age-old problem, and why? Because during 1200 century, BC, during that time itself, in the Egyptian mummies, the eggs of the cystosomes were found. especially in the renal pelvis. So it is not a very new disease, it is like very very old disease, and the evidence has been collected by gathering the eggs in the Egyptian mummies. Now, how does these cystosomes they differ from the other trematodes or the flukes? How do they differ, students? How do they differ? So, what is the differentiating point over here? So, first thing is that there is no radiae. So, the larval form, whatever is there, so that is not present over here, which is present in the other flukes. So, that is no radiae. And sporocyst, that is the after the miracidium, after it develops into what? The second larval form called as sporocyst. And this sporocyst, it is present in two generations. So, that is present in the blood flukes or the cystosome, whereas in the other flukes this particular sporocyst is absent. And very important is metacercaria is not present. And very important in the cystosomes or the blood fluke is what? The eggs are non operculated, and the eggs has got what? Spines. Can you all see the picture over here, students? The eggs are what? Non operculated,
Yes, ma'am.
and they have got a spine. And very important is sexes are separate, that is dioecious. And whereas other cystosomes, other trematodes are hermaphrodites. Next, sometimes the question can be asked, identify the life cycle of the trematodes. So, like in the trematodes, if you see the life cycle, so uh, the adult will be there, the adult it will give rise to eggs, and this egg it will develop into first larval form called as miracidium, and this miracidium it will enter the first intermediate host. What is that intermediate host? Snail. And within the snail, what will happen? The miracidium will develop into sporocyst, and then the sporocyst will develop into which one? The radiae. That is the second larval form, and then radiae will again develop into further divide into two larval forms. That is the first and the second generation, and then this radiae will further develop into what? Cercariae, and then this cercariae will develop into what? Metacercariae, and this will enter the second intermediate host. What is that second intermediate host? It may be crab, fish, or crayfish. So any of the thing. Whereas in cystosome, what will happen? In the cystosome, the egg it will hatch into miracidium, which is common to both the things, and this miracidium will develop into sporocyst, and here the sporocyst it will develop into first and second generation, and this sporocyst it will further develop into cercariae. So what is missing over here? Radiae. So radiae is missing over here, and then the cercariae will further develop into metacercariae. Now try to identify the life cycle of the fluke over here. So this first picture it represents the life cycle of which organism? Students, uh, can you identify? It is a life cycle of Ophistrachus. So here what is the very important thing is that what is the second intermediate host? It is the fish. So the first intermediate host is a snail, and the second intermediate host is what? It is the fish. And this is the life cycle of the what? Fasciola. So here, what is the important thing is that, so what is the secondary intermediate host? It is the aquatic plant. Now coming to the blood fluke, the very important thing cystosoma. So different variants are there. So for us, the very important thing is five types are very important. One is cystosoma hematobium. So where does it will reside? It will reside in the urinary bladder and also in the genital tissues, and it is most commonly it is most commonly found in the Africa and the Middle East. Whereas cystosoma mansoni, so where does it reside, students? Cystosoma mansoni, it will reside in the inferior mesenteric plexus. So it is also more commonly seen in the African people, and Cystosoma japonicum. So the name itself is explanatory that it is seen in the China, Japan, and Indonesia, and in the Philippines. And Cystosoma mekongii, so it is commonly seen in the Cambodia and Laos, and Cystosoma intercalatum, it is commonly seen in the Central Africa. And very important is these are the four variants of the cystosoma. They affect the bowel and the liver. So now look at the picture. So first picture is representing which one, students? It is a picture of the what, students?
Snail.
Snail. So this snail is a first intermediate host, and this is what the infective form for this cystosoma. So what is this infective form called as? Cercariae, and this is the adult form. So these are the things which you need to remember. Now cystosoma and the snails. So most of the snails which act as intermediate host for the cystosoma. So these snails are what? They are the freshwater snails. That means what? These are the snails that are present in the fresh water. So if you want to look at this snail, a picture can be given. So this, what is a snail? It is called as Biome flaria. It is a snail species, so which is especially responsible for the what the development of the Cystosoma mansoni and Oncomelena. So this is the snail. I think you all must have seen this particular type of the snail, right? Most commonly seen snail. So within this snail, what is present? It harbors or it is intermediate host for which one? Cystosoma japonicum. Can you all see the slide, students? And this is the snail which is Bulinus. It is a genus of the snail which is responsible for Cystosoma hematobium. And this particular Cystosoma hematobium is this particular snail is commonly seen in the African area. But if you see this snail, that is limpet or Fericia. This is a type of the snail in which the cystosoma will reside, and it is especially seen in the Ratnagiri district of India. Where does this Ratnagiri district comes? It is in the Maharashtra. So like somewhere in the 1952, what happened? So there were some cases that were reported in this Ratnagiri district where this particular snail is responsible for the causation of what cystosomiasis or cystosoma or hematobium. Then what is the mode of transmission? So how does it happen? Like whatever the cercaria is there, it will penetrate the host skin and it will enter the intact dermis. Very important. There is no need to have any abrasion or anything. So it will penetrate the intact epidermis. Then with the help of what? Oral and the ventral sulcus, it will penetrate. Then once it penetrates, it will lose its tail and then it will turn into another form of larvae called as cystosomula. So what is this larvae called as cystosomula? Now what will happen? This cystosomula, it will enter the dermal veins and then it will reach the lungs or the liver, and then within the liver or the lungs it will develop into adult within 5 to 6 weeks. And once it develops into adult, it will migrate to the vesical venous plexus of the bladder area, and then there it will what? It will lay the eggs. It will lay the eggs, and from the eggs what will come out? The young flukes will come out, and the body of this young flukes are coated with what? The red cell antigen, so that our body won't be able to recognize them as a foreign particle and they will escape the immune response. Are you all clear, students? Students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think tomorrow I'll continue with the rest of the session. So all of you read about this, whatever till now I have covered. So what all things I have covered, you students? Students? So till now, what all has been covered for you? So first thing we have learnt the introduction for the trematodes or the flukes and why they are called as trematodes. So what is the peculiarity feature of these trematodes? So what is the peculiarity feature of these trematode students? They usually
Three
have
hours.
got three hosts, very important.
Three
In
host.
that one is the definitive host and there are two
Definitely host and
intermediate
intermediate
host.
host.
This point you have to remember. Who is the definitive host? It is always man itself, and there may be some instances where monkey, dog, cat will be there. So, but for us, the important is we ourselves. And intermediate host, two are there. First intermediate host, it is always or usually snail. And who is the second intermediate host? The pictures, whatever I have shown you, remember that. Fish, then it may be
Aquatic plants.
crab, very good. Then aquatic plants. So aquatic plant means remember liver fluke. It is also called as what? Sheep fluke. Now what will happen? Just remember this. Sheep will be present. It will go near the pond, and in the pond it will graze, and then what will happen? It will defecate, and in its fecal matter, what will come out? The eggs will come out, and these eggs will continue their life cycle. They will hatch the first larva miracidia, then what will happen? Sporocyst, then sporocyst onwards, this redia will come out. Redia will come out in the form of cercaria, then cercaria will hatch out into metacercaria, that is encysted form. And this encysted form, it will live where? In the aquatic plant. And now what will happen? Again the sheep may eat the same aquatic plant, or man may eat that aquatic plant, and the cycle will continue. So remember this, aquatic plant means it is always related to sheep or liver fluke, right? Any doubts over here, students?
No, ma'am.
Students? Okay. Then what are the
No
five
doubt.
larval forms we have seen? Larval forms. Five larval forms we have seen. No? So what is the first larval
Circle.
form?
Miracidium sporosis.
What
Miracidium.
is the peculiarity of this fellow? This fellow has got what? Cilium. So cilia is present,
Celia.
and what is the lifespan? How long he will survive in the water?
12
12 to 14 hours, if
12 to
not the
14
maximum of 3
hours.
days.
Not
So
3
within this
days.
time, this fellow should get its first intermediate host, that is a snail. If the snail is there, then he will enter the snail body. Within the snail body, he will develop into which one, students? Sporo.
Sporocyst.
And this sporocyst, it will further divide asexually into first sporocyst and second sporocyst. So this second sporocyst, we call it as what? Mother sporocyst. Then what will happen? This sporocyst, it will develop into what? Radiae. It will develop into what?
Redia.
Radiae. Now why it is called as radiae? It is based on the Italian scientist name, that is, that fellow's name itself is what? His name itself is Radiae. So based on his research, it has been named as what? Radiae. Then this Radiae will convert into what? A tail containing larva, that is called as what? Cercariae.
Circadian.
So this fellow has got what? A head, and then he has got a tail. The tail, it may be bifurcated or it may be non-furcated. Yes. So bifurcated tail means yes, it is a blood fluke. Remember that. Then what will happen? This Cercaria will further develop into fifth stage of larva called as what? Metacercaria. That is encysted. But in what happens in blood flukes, only this Cercaria will be there. It is the invasive form. It will penetrate, very irritating fellow, he will penetrate the skin. If not, it is other flukes, like it will develop into other larva that it will be ingested. So all these points we have learnt. So for us, which is very important, students, in cystosoma or the blood flukes, the very important one is cystosoma hematobium, cystosoma mansoni. So these two fellows, where do they live? They are most commonly seen in the Africa. Then next is cystosoma japonicum. So where it is commonly seen, the name itself is indicating it is seen in China, Indonesia, and Philippines. Just remember this. In India, like not many cases are present, but if at all, if you have to remember, it was seen in where? Ratnagiri district of Maharashtra. Now, do you think it is present? No. Now we don't find this particular case. So because how why we are not seeing this case? Because we have already treated with which one? Praziquantel. So this is the drug of choice for this particular cystosoma, hematobium, or any blood flux. Remember this. So praziquantel, it is an anti-helminthic drug. It causes what? Spastic paralysis of the worm, so that worm will be paralyzed and they'll be just flushed out of the human body, so that the worms will be killed in that way. So what is the drug of choice over here, students? That is the praziquantel. Remember this. So because the WHO guidelines, based on that, we have given this praziquantel in the areas affected. So now we hardly see any cases that are related to cystosoma hematobium. So which is the area cystosoma hematobium it affects? It affects which one? Bladder. It affects which one, students? Bladder. Remember this. So we'll continue with the class. Uh, just a second. Tomorrow we'll continue or what?
7 o'clock.
Tomorrow 7 o'clock. Students,
Yes, ma'am.
Mohan,
Yes,
Jai,
ma'am.
Shri, Sinisha.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So all of you read and come. Hope so there won't be any technical issues tomorrow. So I'll continue with the rest of the class tomorrow. And after this,
Okay,
I'll be
ma'am.
continuing with the, this one that is the plasmodium. So which is very very important. Yes,
Okay, schedule.
fine.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.